Have you ever noticed how a calm mind can really set the stage for a good night's sleep? So, without further ado, here are my top 7 tips for sleep. 1. Black it and block it. There was a time where I needed some kind of light on in order to sleep. When I was extremely sick and dizzy, I needed some kind of light on in order to sleep. But moving on from that, I realized that I slept more soundly in a dark room. And I mean really dark. Not just shut the cheap mini blinds kind of dark. I invested in thick thermal drapes that completely covered my windows, made sure electronic lights were masked, and even grabbed a pair of soft cotton shorts that I used to cover my eyes when even the tiniest amount of morning light would peek through. Our brains are finely tuned to be awake when it's light, so for the maximal restorative effect, block out as much light as you can in your sleeping space. If you can tolerate a sleep mask, go for it. Otherwise, look into thick drapes, a roller shade, or a do-it-yourself window covering. Also, take a look around at electronic lights, clocks, speakers, sound machines, aquariums, chargers, etc. These little bits of bright artificial light can mess up your sleep too. And while we're on the subject, tip number 2, cut the blue light. Perhaps you've read in the news or elsewhere that our electronic habits are messing with our sleep because of the blue wavelengths of light they emit. In fact, I think it's so important, I wrote an entire blog about it a while back. The thing is, that blue light that comes from your smartphone, your tablet, your TV, and your e-reader is telling your brain to halt melatonin production. And this valuable hormone is crucial for getting to sleep and staying on a healthy sleep schedule. So if you're able, power down your electronics at least 1 hour before bedtime. And if you're hooked to your Kindle like I am, invest in some amber-colored goggles or a blue blocking film for your screen. Give yourself at least a few days to experiment with this and give your brain time to readjust its melatonin levels. Trust me, it'll be worth it when you wake up rested. 3. Halt the stimulants. Confession. I love coffee. Love the smell, love the taste, love the way it fits into my mornings perfectly and gives me a boost to get my work done. But I haven't had a sip of it in months. Why? Because it seriously messes with my sleeping. Even a half-caff drink leaves me awake for several hours past my usual bedtime. I've always been sensitive to caffeine, but it's gotten more apparent as I've changed my diet and cleaned things up even more. So for now, I'm going sans coffee in the mornings to give my body a fighting chance at a solid night's sleep. If you are a heavy caffeine user, try cutting back a little bit for a week or so and see how you sleep differently. Or, if you're brave, go for a full caffeine detox for 2 to 3 weeks. Regardless, it's always good to stop taking in any stimulants by mid-afternoon. These compounds stay in your system for a long time, so don't assume that your morning cup will be flushed out by the evening. Tip number 4. Melanie's poetic description of how coffee makes her feel is definitely something I can relate to. But like Melanie, I too realized that I'm sensitive to caffeine's effects. In fact, more than 2 cups of coffee, and I can't fall asleep at night. A cup of coffee in the afternoon is absolutely out of the question. On the other hand, I don't seem to be as sensitive to light, so the run-of-the-mill blinds in my bedroom seem to be fine for now. When it comes to blue light exposure, until we know for sure, I would just assume that we are all sensitive to blue light. This is because the potential benefits of avoiding blue light before bed likely outweighs any harms of avoiding it. Said another way, avoiding exposure to blue light before bed is more likely to help you, not harm you. On my phone, unless I'm watching the latest Batman trailer, I always keep the blue light filter on. Trailers for Batman movies are always so dark, it's hard to see what's going on half the time. Anywho, before I go on a rant about that, when I'm not watching a Batman trailer, you can guarantee that the blue light filter on my phone is on. And I'll be honest, at first the screen definitely looks more orange, but after a couple of days, you don't even notice it anymore. It's so worth it. Sleep well. All right, that should do it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for sharing this show with someone. I'll be back here tomorrow to finish up this post. I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.